Again, that game against Berjaya will literally be do or die, and you'd rather not be in that position just yet. Let's go ahead and get ourselves into draft, though, as we start off with Machi on blue side, going to be Liyab on the red, getting rid of the Silas here away from Rex.
Taking that away from Rex, we've seen a couple of, I guess, very rare picks at top side as well. We've never seen Kanji play the Silas pick, but it has proven to be of use of a lot of value. And now Liyab also taking the safe route of removing that set, which can be flexed in 4 different roles. Machi in response, though, will ban out the Nidalee.
All right, so getting rid of some of the aggression that we did see come out of Doidoi when he was on the champion, like the form of the Nidalee. I think our big question when it comes to Liyab's draft in particular is, are we going to see the aggression? Are we going to see the easier comps try and execute the all-in kind of team fight style, or are they going to fall back onto those more poke, scaling compositions that can end up faltering? And that Cabbage is confident the team can play, but they have not been able to show it consistently.
Yeah, and it seems that Machi's still going towards that safe route, removing, Rex's Zoe, his favorite pick. And it does, just as you mentioned, enable any of the Liyab composition where they do want that poke. And now even Volibear removed, as there's a lot of respect, as Machi was the only one that has garnered the Volibear victories aside from HQ. And there you go. That's going to be a first pick Graves.
And that's a decent takeaway from Liyab. You pretty much have to force Doidoi on something like a Lee Sin if he wants to try and maintain the aggression that we expect of him. But for Gemini, he looked like the best Graves in the region back at the midseason showdown, and it still looked pretty consistent on the champion.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a huge challenge, as we can see how Graves can actually bully some of the junglers, invade constantly if they do get a comfortable lead. And for Doidoi, wondering whether or not he's going to fall back on, just as you mentioned, the Lee Sin, or perhaps maybe even the Trundle that we've seen constantly from this team. And yes, Ashe been the favorite of Dawn in the bottom side of the map. Pair that with Mocha, which has garnered a lot of Bard bans when they're up against Liyab.
Yeah, I was the one that kind of snuck through on the side of Machi that I was maybe expecting, but it's going to be Mocha on his Bard, which he has actually favored quite a bit. It helps with his roam play style. Again, this was a guy who debuted on Pike in the region. This now has been one of his fallbacks, but on the other side of Machi, we are just getting comfort after comfort picks getting locked in the form of the Ezreal, as well as that Graves already, and maybe even possibly the Leona for Koala.
Yeah, heavy engage already checked on the list for Machi with that Leona pick, so definitely going to be a scary combo, as the carries have already been sort of picked out from Machi. Still waiting on what mission we'll decide to pick later on. It's definitely going to be key, as Liyab still no jungler seen yet, as might even match the mirror of locking in the jungler, as no, Rex will have his Twisted Fate open, actually.
And this is very much kind of drafting into the style that has at least worked when it comes to the lane pickups. Rex has had some decent performances on the Twisted Fate, sometimes a little lackluster, but overall, at least he has been able to find the victories when the team has played it. And this is very much a, once level 6 hits kind of composition already forming from Liyab. That is the go button. That is when you want to try and make things happen, and that might be towards the mid lane and try and get mission off guard.
Yeah, it's a very flexible composition as well from Liyab. You do have a very strong pick potential, and as well as possibly maybe a 1-3-1 when whatever Kanji will decide to pick up. And Machi, or rather Liyab, has banned out in respect out of mission, removing that very team fight accessory, which is that Orianna, and Machi removing Dodoi's comfort pick on that Lee Sin.
Now I'm interested, is Machi also then going to try and ban away something like the Olaf, and then for Doidoi, you kind of have to fall back at least onto the Trundle, which we kind of found to be a little bit less impactful than we wish to see out of him, as well as that Galio being banned away here from Machi.
Yeah, still a lot of respect on towards Mission. Mission would always go back and fall back to maybe the quirky or more of the traditional mages in the mid lane, such as the Syndrome, maybe even sometimes the LeBlanc, but he has been picking up a lot of that utility weight as well in the form of the Galio recently. And yeah, Machi has been constricting a lot of Dodoy's pool, and now Trundle is out of the table.
I actually kind of like that they banned the Trundle, because that means Dodoy can't play it. Personally, because I'm just not a fan of the Trundle. Instead, put him on something like the Olaf. He's usually a little bit more aggressive on the champion, but then you're heavily relying on Liyab to help set up the plays when it comes to ganks, whether that's from your Twisted Fate or from the Ashe Bard combo.
Yeah, usually when we see the Olaf, Rex would normally go towards the Karma that is banned, so it is very nice to see a little bit more on the reliable hard CC such as the Twisted Fate. And if we see Mission lock this in on this Azir, that means yes, it's going to be a little bit on the passive side of things with that Azir pick.
And for Mission, his Azir, obviously if you guys maybe are just tuning in for the PCS this first time over the last couple of weeks, some of our new viewers, Mission, his debut on the Azir back in spring playoffs, he got a pentakill in the very first game. So his Azir is very much respected when it comes to the region. And then for PK, we're not going to see him on a skirmisher, we're not going to see him on a brawler. Instead, put him onto that CC tank in the form of the Aura.
Yeah, it just means that Machi is really prepared for these 5v5s, and this is definitely a very comfortable approach to the game that Machi has constantly been going up for in the Liyab. Are they putting Kanji on the Camille once again?
It did make it through the ban phase. We have seen early games from Kanji look very good, but when it comes into the mid to late game during team skirmishes, sometimes his target selection is a little bit all over the place, or the team's a little bit miscommunicative. So we'll see whether or not they're able to snowball him immediately to provide him being that side lane threat, and then force Machi to have to make those calls and see whether or not Liyab can at least sustain away from that pressure.
Exactly. This is a very, I would really say, a very risky composition. It's definitely not one of those things where it's a protect the Dawn composition, but it definitely fits the playstyle of Liyab back at spring, of having to enable Dodoy here on this Olaf, get ahead, and as well as Kanji and Dawn will supplement the later damage when they do 5v5s. And again, their pick potential is very strong with the Twisted Fate and as well as the Bard. So we'll see if they will be able to pull this off.
Yeah, for Liyab, this composition, it screams, you know, level 6, that's kind of their go button. You have the Tempered Fate, you also have yourself the Crystal Arrow coming out from the Ashe. You have a lot of opportunities to try and make plays happen during the lane phase. For Machi, though, this is kind of their old kind of classic. You farm out the lanes, wait about 15-20 minutes, and then once they hit their 2-item power spikes, that's when they start coming online, and that's when they look to play. So we'll see whether or not Liyab can add Machi to the list of kings they have been able to slay within the PCS, or if Machi are looking to just go ahead and extinguish the Liyab flame as they already get started for their run back into the playoffs as we load on into the Rift for Game 2.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And on we go here as, again, for Liyab, this split has been, as they coined, a half development split, half execution split. Unfortunately, the execution part of the split has been a little bit rough when it comes into their second round of the double round robin. Like we mentioned, they have been able to take down some of the top teams in the PCS, but we've not been able to see them consistently go head-to-head with some of our mid-pack teams to fill us with confidence that they could maybe take this match.
Yeah, whenever they get the lead towards the mid-pack teams, they struggle at the other half of the game, and against the top teams such as PSG and as well as HQ, they are able to take it towards the long run, like a 40-minute, 35-minute game, which I think is a very different version of Liyab, as normally before 30 minutes, if they snowball, that's how they win the games. And now their win condition, due to this roster, has completely changed, and it's a good change of pace, definitely, for them.
Their track record, though, you do have to know, again, when it comes to Liyab, the backbreaker is what we like to call it, is usually that 15 to 25-minute team fight where they try and take on the third dragon of the game in most cases, in which usually their opponents are able to just wipe the board. And when you look at Machi's composition, that's kind of around the time that some of these carries come online in the form of the Azir that'll likely get that Nashers and usually sometimes a Ludens we see as the first rush. And then also that Ezreal once he has his Triforce or Iceborne alongside the Muramana stack.
Yeah, it's going to be insanely scary. If you top it off with such an amazing AoE CC control in the form of this Ornn, in the form of this Leona, Liyab definitely has no match if they're going to be fighting 5v5. And therefore, they really have to take advantage of this laning phase, just as you mentioned, especially once level 6 comes, as Machi definitely geared for the 5v5 against Liyab.
And you already saw there, Rex kind of getting poked out in lane, was trying to do what he could to try and get some damage in onto Mission, but got kind of forced back, so maybe not the exact start they're looking for. But again, it's a Twisted Fate. He'll have his level 6 before that cooldown would have been even available, so he'll be able to maybe try and make a roam play early on. But I think that was our main matchup we wanted to pay attention to, was how Mission is going to fare with some of this aggression. As Koala already getting that Zenith Blade into the stun, and Bruce already getting decent amount of damage. That is, of course, going to be the exhaust into the Ignite, and there it is, first blood. And meanwhile, top lane, Kanji is getting soloed down by PK. Almost will get taken on down, but has to back off away from the tower.
And this is scary because we see Gemini actually making his way through top side. So if he does stick around, possibly, never mind.
Oh no, PK!
Wait,
he ends up going down to the tower, but Kanji will not get the kill credit. Gemini, though.
Oh no.
Okay, we've seen this one before. Kanji gonna jump on in. Unfortunately, true damage coming out from the Ignite Graves is enough to take him on down, so that's gonna be Machi's second secured kill.
Teleport, though, we see Dodo making his way on top. But yeah, that is a 2-0 still. No kill exchange from Kanji just because he's unable to get a tag on towards PK. Therefore, it's just a turret execution. But it all started here. First bottom side action as level 3. Level 2 actually insanely strong already for, you know, the Koala Bruce bot lane. And unfortunately, that Ignite is just going to secure the kill. And Kanji getting bullied by PK here. So it's been a very tough laning phase for top and bottom for the rookies in general.
Okay, so you saw Kanji was confident enough that he had the level up, but unfortunately just wasn't able to get any damage back. The thing, though, that the fact that Rex actually backed earlier on in the lane allowed Mission to push that into tower and let Gemini actually get the invade into the jungle to at least finish off that kill.
Very unfortunate, because that has been the trend for the past 5 minutes of the game. Mission has been forcing Rex into his own tower. Therefore, Rex might not have the best opportunity to find these Destiny plays, but this leaves Mission for a gank.
All right, we'll see, though, as Mocha kind of just walks up. Mission, even though he doesn't have any mana, he's like, all right, let's kind of walk back to my lane. Unfortunately, Mocha doesn't really do a whole lot until he hits level 6. Speaking of level 6, Kanji is at least able to hit his, but already down about a wave and a half in this top lane matchup.
Yeah, so far, at least for Kanji, he has been the target most of the time from the enemy top jungle duos. As Kanji will have to be playing a little bit more safe, but seems that he has regained his confidence, at least, as Machi making the early roams and putting early vision in Liyab's jungle. Maybe not.
Well, they get a little bit down here with the control wards, and that kind of forces now, if Dodo gets spotted out, it kind of limits his ability to make an impact on the map. And for Liyab, Doidoi, we need to see him along Mocha trying to make those plays happen. It seems like that's just not going to be the case, and now they're kind of relying on Rex to hit that level 6, but he's already getting forced off his wave and starting to go down 2 waves.
And that is absolutely very difficult to see, because Dodoy unfortunately has a lot of, I suppose, air quote, babysitting to do in the mid lane as well when we look at Mission having full control over this Twisted Fate. Therefore, not a lot of options for Rex to move around the map, and therefore Dodoy not able to make moves along with him as well. And that's going to be a very difficult scenario, because when we look at the CC, you're going to be heavily relying on the Tempered Fate and as well as the gold card. And
Dawn set up once again, uses the cleanse a little bit late there. Bruce still able to get some decent damage. Unfortunately, Mocha not able to land that bind, and there you go. That's going to force Mocha to get back to safety, but the Ignite's ticking on down, and in comes the dive. And just like that, it's a double kill in favor of Machi. 2 onto the Graves, and they do at least trade back 1 kill back to Dawn, but already Machi starting to run away with the map.
I love the aggression from Machi because usually, you know, mission here on this Azir means that yes, he's gonna be farming it up in the mid lane, but having to put a Leona and the Graves here means that they're gonna be a little bit more aggressive and they have the capability to do so. And unfortunately, again, Rex had to go bye-bye.
What's Dodo doing?
Dodo?
Why are you standing within melee range of an Azir? I have no question. I don't know whether or not the mental's already gone, but that's a questionable play, and that's not what you want to see out of your captain as he gets taken down and gives a free kill over to Mission.
What just happened there? Because the only thing that I could possibly think of is later I will say, as we're taking a look at the bottom lane replay, and again, Mocha tried his best to body block, but unfortunately, Gemini being there helps with that ignite, and the rest is history. As you know, there is still an exchange kill at least, but it's towards the support. And I want to go back to that mid lane because I feel like what Dodo wanted to do was to bait out Mission, but he's just getting chunked out because Rex had Destiny at that point to see if the bait was possible, but Machi just pulled the trigger, and that wasn't the case. As again, full control, they even get this Rift Herald.
Oh, that's kind of the thing, though, when we talk about Liyab, is there has been communication issues. We even raised that when we got to check in during the mic check earlier on during the season, and we even asked, you know, Cabbage, who was kind of the main shot caller, and they say, well, we all like to have everybody having input. But that doesn't seem like anybody had input. It only seemed like that was in Doidoi's mind, where Rex was like, I don't want to use Destiny. I'm falling behind in CS. This doesn't go right. I'm going to be even further behind.
And that is exactly what happened, unfortunately. And that even puts Liyab behind, and they're going to be even more trouble because Machi's composition only gets stronger as the game progresses, and Liyab will definitely want to take advantage of this Olaf pick, want to take advantage of the laning phase with this Destiny, but it is unfortunately nowhere to be seen. You still have that Crystal Arrow at least to make things happen, and as well as Mocha's Roam, but because of Machi's bot lane being constantly in Dawn's face,
Rex goes too far forward. Dodo is coming down the lane, but he's too late, and that appears to be the story of this game. As that's going to be Gemini picking up his 4th kill of the game, and just like that, it's a 3,500 gold lead here from Machi. And pretty much they have walked up into this matchup up against Liyab and have proclaimed, yeah, you might be the Kingslayers, but we're looking to be immortal.
Yeah, they're definitely looking insanely strong. As Rex just really wanted to force that gold card zone mission away from the lane, but with nothing left, as the flash has already been used, and it's going to be an easy pickings as you're extended with the Emperor's Divide in. It's going to be an easy kill for you.
And the thing that's kind of concerning to us, too, is this is in theory, your 2 more veteran-esque members of your team, or at least what you expect to be kind of your leaders during this early mid-game. Doidoi trying to falter, Rex not communicating with the rest of his team, and Mocha getting caught out now twice on this Bard. It hasn't worked out. We'll see whether or not, though, they can try and turn this one around. Temper Fate is available, able to land that stun onto Bruce, and they will take him down. A nice shutdown goes on over. Rex, though, wants to go for a roam himself. Koala able to get himself back to safety, with the Temper Fate will come out. Teleport, though, going to be used immediately by PK, trying to turn this one around. Rex was tanking tower the entire time, and he gets taken on down. It'll be a trade 1-for-1. In comes the Call of the Forge God, trying to get some damage back onto Doidoi, but now another teleport as Kanji wants to join in onto the fray. Hookshot brings him in, flash away from PK, goes unstoppable, and PK is able to find another kill because they do not juggle the aggro of the tower properly, and mid lane 2 towers are down.
What just happened there? Liyab, unfortunately, was just too greedy for the kill. And again, first off, it was Rex that was tanking the tower hits, and then next was Dodo, who was completely unhealthy in his HP bars to even afford to tank that hit. And it all started here with Machi, the usual, being very aggressive in the bottom side of the map, as they've been taking hits or kills here and there. But this is the punish that Liyab can potentially take. They managed to get a kill, but Liyab decided to push further.
But my question is, sure, you're able to maybe find an extra kill. Look at mid lane on your minimap. You got a Graves, you got an Azir, just walking away towers. He lost now 2 towers in mid. Rex will never have mid lane priority ever again in his life, and this Twisted Fate will never be able to roam.
And the thing is, they sacrificed so much. They really made that decision and did not able to even make an extra kill because Leona was still healthy, Koala was still healthy, and PK is able to exchange again those 2 kills. And Liyab has to make do with that broken 2 towers in the mid lane.
And we also mentioned, too, that, you know, Machi, they're very much a team that's kind of looking to scale in most cases. You know, you have an Azir, you have an Ezreal, just looking to get their items online. Well, now they've been able to get an injection of 6,000 gold into the team's coffers. And Liyab, they're opening their opportunity in which this team was supposed to be strong coming up here on to your next kind of dragon fight. It's going to be non-existent.
Exactly, they weren't able to take advantage as Rex has been with Akanji.
And Akanji now, he's going to be the new target. His mission comes on over, not able to land the Emperor's Divide. Final tick of damage. Won't take down Kanji as he had a pot, at least pop, trying to get himself the health regen. Liyab trying to respond. Tempered Fate is going to be there onto Mission. Will he actually get taken on down? Gold card going to land onto the Azir, and they're able to find it some decent damage. The shutdown goes on over to Doidoi. Nonetheless, though, Liyab can still not respond here, as you still have these 2 main carries, the Gemini and Bruce, pushing back.
Liyab will definitely take what they can, are able to punish Machi for overstaying their welcome. And yeah, that's the thing for Machi. They have a lot of key ults that will deal a huge amount of damage to set up for Machi when it comes to getting that pick. But once everything is already blown out, Liyab will definitely have an opportunity to fight back, as long as they're able to survive the first few waves of ults and are able to dodge those. And I think Liyab is definitely really banking on that, but the fact that, again, this Twisted Fate is unable to make moves around the map, hopefully later on, once the map is a little bit more open, they are definitely have a comfy 1-3-1 in the form of Kanji here on this Camille and as well as this Twisted Fate with Rex.
The issue is, though, you need a Kanji to get ahead in this game. Get that, again, that lane phase at least rolling so that he could actually compete with a side lane. Now, though, PK is just giving him the clap down with his Ornn, and Machi are even going to push in onto the jungle. Bruce is able to sidestep away from a nice arrow that was being lined up by Dawn. Even Destiny being popped here by Rex, but nothing will happen as we take a look back with Machi are actually the ones to make a mistake here.
Yeah, they were very overly eager to see in whether or not they can get a kill. True Shot Barrage, collateral damage, not enough. So they really want to force down the plates as, again, they have no ults anymore to dish out. Therefore, Liyab is able to punish as that's a very beautiful Tempered Fate to punish Mission.
They are able to at least take down Mission. That does actually net them a shutdown as he did actually started to, you know, find himself ahead in CS. Doidoi getting a bit aggressive himself, though. I do like that Doidoi is at least trying to step up, trying to make something happen in return, but still this gold lead ever growing to now 7,000 at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough. Doidoi even uses his flow. Mission?
A lot being used. Mission getting a little bit low, but he does at least have the shifting sands to get himself back to safety. Gemini looking to kite on back. In comes Bruce with the collateral damage, able to take down Doidoi alongside Mission. And there you go, a nice trade back coming out from Machi, baiting back the fight.
And I was gonna say, Doidoi already used his flash. If he enters the fight, if he tries to enter the fight again, that's gonna be no escape for Doidoi, and that's exactly what happened.
Call the Forge God,
Topside?
not going to actually land onto Dawn, just threatening. But now, top lane, first tier tower goes down. Kanji's stuck there in mid, and it's still going to be a long while before we see that Triforce completed on this Camille, and he's actually a threat.
Exactly, as PK has been on Kanji duty all this time, having that Sunfire already completed. And yes, this could have been great, but unfortunately, Mission is just so slippery. And the fact that, again, Doidoi does not have Flash anymore to catch up, no Ragnarok anymore as well. Therefore, Liyab's tools to actually try to eliminate key targets from Machi is out of the question.
And now taking a look back here, too, as we see our items coming online. PK is soon going to have that Iceborne. Also note too is it looks like Mission is opting to go into the Ludens. Koala might get himself caught out here, and that might be a good pickup, but in comes that teleport. You see Machi looking to turn back the tables. Kanji able to get that jump up, but gets interrupted by PK off the teleport, and the Camille can't even finish off the kill on the Leona. Rex trying to backtrack here, but again, Machi able to respond to the aggression of Liyab.
And it's like, you know, it's a bait all along. Koala was in such a deep place in Liyab's jungle. And Liyab, again, the lack of very reliable CC without the help of Rex is just making things harder for them to punish aggressive plays from Machi. And with that said, beautiful interrupt coming from PK for Liyab unable to make the exchange a 1-1 situation.
And it comes back here where, you know, Koala, he looks like he's caught out. And unfortunately, Liyab, they just don't have the damage to burst him down. And it's tragic, the fact that PK is able to get here in time and Kanji can't even make the play. Oh!
Stop, beautiful knock-up coming from PK. And again, that could have been a 1-1 exchange for Liyab, but PK just denies that and takes that away from them. And yeah, the Rift Herald able to remove that inner tower in bottom side rather. And with that, Liyab has to go guard duty, defense duty in the lanes.
And it also becomes a factor that even
Gemini?
Gemini, that is some aggression coming out. True Shot Barrage not able to land onto the Dawn, but you do see Machi continuing the push, take down the bot lane inhibitor at 18 minutes. And this now begs the question here for Liyab. If you are able to qualify for playoffs, if they are going to continue to play like this, you're just acting as cannon fodder. We have not seen development from this team outside of a small instance for Kanji and a bit of consistency outside of Dawn. That's pretty much all we've seen of Liyab when it comes to Summer Split.
Yeah, when we look at their win conditions, they've been really falling towards more on having towards the scale. But when we look at their opponents, when Machi, PSG, J-Team, HQ, that is definitely also one of their biggest strengths. And yes, I definitely do agree with you, as Liyab has been a very coin flip team when it comes to their performances in the round robin.
And at least for Liyab, he just saw it come into the inventory. That is a Triforce completed. And this is a do or die, but Mission spots it out. He tries to get himself back over to safety. He's stuck in the wall, but it don't matter. Rex had the stun there, couldn't really move at all. Mission gets taken on down. A nice catch coming out from Liyab, but let's see, does Machi actually look to respond? A nice solar flare into the Zenith Blade, but now response coming out immediately. Rex gets taken down by the True Shot Barrage combo into the Mystic Shot, and there you go. Dodo getting kited on back. It's a double kill for Gemini, and Kanji can't finish it off. And the Graves once again, Gemini finding himself a triple kill, and Bruce on the hunt. In comes the Call of the Forge God, knocking up the rest of the squad. It's an ace for Machi.
And that is a fight that Liyab wanted to take, but Machi was just really dead on when it comes to that decision of responding. It became an instant 5v3 situation that Liyab was not prepared for.
And like, I'll give it to him. I like Liyab. They're trying to make something work here. Try and get some shutdowns, try and get some gold onto your carries. But then, unfortunately, options are limited on when they're trying to escape, and at that point, there's nothing you can do.
And the thing was, the AD carry Dawn was not present at all, as Bruce was just free hitting all day with no threat whatsoever. And it's basically cleanup squad. Yes, you did get Mission, but at what cost? As that is an ace, and an ace means more Machi control over the map.
You saw there, push came in. They were able to take down the second tier tower, get a little bit of damage onto the inhibitor tower itself.
Oh, no.
And Dodoy, whoo, gets himself back to safety. But it's a very feels bad if your AD carry has less gold than the Orin top lane on the opposing squad. Let that just kind of sink in right now. That is how far Liyab are at this point. Destiny going to be popped. They're just trying to see whether or not there's even an opportunity. Dodoy doesn't even have flash. He just used to get himself back to safety. Rex pulls the Messiah, trying to make a play on himself. But again, a three-man knockup. Mission comes over the wall. Tempered Fate is there, but unfortunately PK is still howling towards them. And just like that, Liyab will again get cleaned up, trying to respond to a Baron play.
And that is 2 members out. A lot of the key champions to be able to at least get a setup aside from Rex. And that's a lot of death timers, at least for Liyab, and therefore unable to contest this Baron that will go cleanly towards Machi.
And there you go, 17-4. Baron at 21.5 minutes. Unfortunately, not a whole lot Liyab can really do at this point. There was an opportunity for a steal. Unfortunately, Dodoy doesn't even have flash, gets caught out, and then the rest is history.
And the fact that Ragnarok has already been used as a defensive maneuver, which means now a lot of options as well for Dodoy to make things happen. And Machi has been doing this since the first few minutes of the game. They've restricted Dawn in the laning phase, therefore Mocha isn't able to roam in the mid lane to help out Dodoy, to help out Rex, and then Kanji has been completely shut down by the solo matchup against, this Ornn pickup. And the laning phase also didn't work out, as we've only seen one Destiny teleport in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and remember what that Destiny ended up costing them. It cost them both mid lane towers. Rex would never be able to push past the river at that point, and Mission was able to just dominate the matchup. And I think it is fair to say, skill matchup may be heavily sided toward Machi. That might just be the case here. And even if Liyab had the proper coordination, I don't know if they could still execute when it comes to mechanics, as Machi, again, just feel like they're on a different level at this point. Call the Forge God, going to be used, doesn't land onto Dawn or Rex, but you do see Rex looking for the gold card, will have it in his back pocket. But Machi, relentless it seems, again, adamant to try and get this push in. We'll see whether or not Liyab can make a final hold. Minion buffed minions now onto the Nexus Towers. In comes again your arrow. Rex almost gets taken down immediately by Bruce. Kanji goes into stasis. A three-man Tempered Fate, but still, look at the health bars. They're not there for Liyab at this point. Emperor's Divide divides the bodies of Liyab. And once more, Machi find themselves the ace. They find themselves the Nexus of Liyab in record time, 23.5 minutes. Machi dominating Liyab.
And with that, Liyab may be called the Kingslayers, but Machi is definitely having none of it. A very confident start till the end against Liyab, and they'll definitely be happy about that win, as they're still, again, competing towards that bye slot, the first and second seed in the summer split.
Yeah, it wasn't like Machi didn't have anything for this matchup. Again, this is still a team that's fighting toward the top of the standings, and you know what? If you're able to do just that up against Liyab, I think it still convinces that, hey, this is still a top contending team if they can deal with, like I mentioned, the cannon fodder that has become Liyab. And now their destiny to make playoffs, it's kind of 50-50. They need to take down Berjaya Dragons later today, and then they also need Berjaya Dragons not to win a single game after that if they want to have a hope of making playoffs.
And it's going to be a very difficult scenario. Again, they had HKA last week. Unfortunately, they fell. And now Machi. And now it's one of those things. Can Liyab reset, as they've managed to experience a massive loss against Machi? None of the lanes were able to pick up. None of the lanes were able to get ahead or even stabilize. So it's going to be a tough game number 2 for them today.
Yeah, we even mentioned the draft priority. We wanted to see Dodoy get on something that was aggressive, that was in his comfort pool, but when you have to fall back all the way to an Olaf because of that second round pickup, it ends up hurting the team a decent amount, and we've still not seen this team execute on the compositions. We've seen this team comp has only worked once for Liyab, and I believe they have tried it numerous amount of times. Something's got to change. Unfortunately, time is up.
Yeah, time is definitely up, as Liyab, again, unable to take advantage of the laning phase, as a lot of the Machi squad had priority. And again, looking at this Baron, Machi was just so far ahead. Dodoy did not have Ragnarok and Flash at the time, and therefore unable to fight back. And Mission, you are the MVP, despite Liyab having to keep focusing on getting a pick on you.
And that was just, you can even tell by the KP percentage. He only has 45% KP off 10 kills that he was involved in. That's just how messy the rest of the map was, that, Machi were happy to just to play within, and unfortunately for Liyab, there wasn't just much hope there. So again, congratulations on over to Machi, as well as Mission picking up his MVP, even flexing the Machi sign just there. And you saw this team is in pretty high spirits heading into playoffs. You might have saw during the break there, the Do You Know Me segment. The team has a bunch of fun. The chemistry is there, and they've been able to recover after what looked to be a tilting performance back at the mid-season showdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Machi, they've seen a pretty, I wouldn't say their lowest performance when it comes to the PCS, but it was a little bit shaky. And it seems they're back in their form when we're come from spring, where they had a 12 win streak, 15 win streak, if we do count the playoffs, and looking forward to their performance in the rest of the round robin at least.
Yeah, you know, Machi's still looking pretty clean. They have dropped that one game to Alpha that we did see back last week, so there is still a little bit of shakiness at times when it comes to this team. But we do have an interview alongside PK, who's on that horn with our translator Patty.
播的一个位置，那就请 PK 跟所有的观众打声招呼。
大家好，我是 Machi 的上路 PK。
好，那我们这里有几个问题想要来问 PK。那这个第一个问题的话是，请问上路那一段塔杀到底是发生什么样的问题？你要不要来跟各位解释一下，或者是说明一下呢？
So first of all, we want to ask you what happened during that top lane when you got killed by the turret.
当下我是觉得我自己就可能撞完 W 可能可以闪现普攻收掉，但就是可能还没按出来，被他先闪了，所以有点丑吧。就结束了，队友也觉得我那波玩的有点丑。
So in the beginning, I thought I could just kill him after I used my flash and use my W and my normal hit to hit him and kill him, but it didn't happen, so I got killed by the turret, and my teammates told me later that it was a little bit ugly.
那能不能分享一下就是 10.15 版本对上路的差别？因为 10.15 就是越来越多人，包括 10.14 就有些上路在玩像卡密尔啊，或者看得出来他 counter 贾克斯这种斗士角，那你是怎么看的呢？
So now we're in the 10.15 patch. Can you tell us the differences it makes on the top lane?
我觉得1.5其实对上路没有什么太大的改变啊，可能只有法术那个改动对于2可能有些变化吧。那斗士的话，可能卡密尔是可能14就因为在这跟之前有些斗士的削弱，所以卡密尔才会慢慢的变多。
So I think the most difference is the nerf on the unsealed spellbook. So it's going to be a little bit hard for Orin or Cannon. But for Camille, because it's already nerfed in the 10.14 patch, so that doesn't make that much of a difference. Now we're in the 10.15 patch.
那最后一个问题，因为目前的情况就战绩啊是已经确定晋级了，那有机会在后续比赛或者是季后赛看到你们拿出比较特别的阵容吗？
So now you guys are getting into the playoffs for sure. Is it possible that we'll be seeing more special or more interesting team compositions from your team?
我们是有准备一些新角色啊，但这些不好说，但还是有机会。
We did prepare some more champions and some new picks, but we can't really tell you that, so it really depends on who we're facing against.
OK， 那我们非常感谢 PK 来接受我们的一个采访，也恭喜马吉在刚刚的比赛获得了胜利。那我们刚刚其实从采访的时候也是有听到已经有准备好的东西。
Oh, there you go. We might get a little bit of an interesting pick here or there, but again, we'll have to see whether or not Machi are going to need to do that. And like we mentioned too, Machi again tied up when it comes to wins with Taipei J team, but again, anything can change, and there is still our other matches to play today, as we are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back though, Hong Kong Attitude taking on AHQ Esports Club, which AHQ, again, similar to Machi, need to win every single game if they want to have a shot at taking that first seed in the playoffs.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
我们是 HKA，
大家好，我是 HKA 的战队经理 Rudy。
我是